Let's make Wonder Woman about dudes.
Right. Ranted so much about all of this stuff. I'm gonna let him rant about Spider-Man.
Oh, thank you. God bless you, son.
I will just say that I have never been more excited for a creator to leave a book than Dan Slott leaving Spider-Man. The floor is yours.
Dan Slott has me blocked on Twitter.
You.
I'm not there. I'm not there yet, though. Give it tonight. We may get there. As a rule of thumb, I try not to knock creators when I'm writing a review, just because it feels like I don't want to feel like I'm attacking people. I attack the work. If I'm assuming intention on a story, I don't like to assume intention on the creator. I don't know why I digressed into that, but
they're fine.
So here we are. Man, Alex Ross. Alex Ross is like one of the great. Is like arguably the greatest, like modern artist in comics.
Does that say lore on it?
Loki.
Loki.
Oh.
Yeah, speaking of needing to know other things, he's a Sorcerer Supreme right now. Because
the last time I read comics, he was a teenager.
Oh. Here?
Was it Kieran Gillen's Young Avengers? Because I read those recently, and that was amazing.
No, he was. I think it was when he showed up in Miss Marvel. That was the last time I saw the character of Loki show up.
That at prom? I think that
yeah, that was prom. That's how long it's been since I've read comics.
I kind of want to read that. That sounds awesome. I like Kamala, but I've never read a lot of her comics. Anyway, I keep digressing. So Loki's the Sorcerer Supreme right now. Because the Vishanti, which are like Doctor Strange's gods, they're like, hey, there's some big shit going down, so we're going to put a god in this role. And the Doctor Strange book's actually really good, by the way. It makes that story work. Here, it's just like kind of an
incidental detail.
Yeah. So where do I begin? Okay, so Spider-Man's an asshole.
All right, we're off to a stellar start. All right, Spider-Man is an asshole, boy.
So, and I'm reading this now because I'm the reviews editor, and I'm like, okay, I gotta cover the big releases.
That's why I saw 50 Shades Freed last night.
I'm not sure if I could say this is my 50 Shades Freed. That was probably Suicide Squad number 33. Ooh, oh, dear God.
Gotta wade through the crap sometimes.
Yeah, and I was gonna make a 50 Shades themed joke there. Different kind of fluid, I suppose. But anywho, I'm very sorry for that. So the story, Spider-Man. So he was dating Mockingbird, and
wait, hold on. Like Bobby Morse?
Yes.
How far apart in age are they? Because, like,
that is what you would think.
Retcon. Spider-Man gets slowly older. All the other characters get slowly younger or stop aging altogether.
I'm just gonna move on because I'm confused, but that's not that surprising. It's Marvel. Continue.
So Spider-Man was dating Mockingbird, which, first of all, like, it's Clinton Bobby. That should be it. I know we've moved years past that, but no,
she deserves better because Clint is a human disaster.
Yeah, yes, but he's a beautiful human disaster. Oh, I love Hawkeye so much.
I know, I do too. We will agree on this.
So they broke up because Spider-Man was briefly pretty much Tony Stark. There was Parker Industries. He was super rich. So you know that whole idea of Spider-Man being really relatable to a lot of people because he's
he's supposed to be the everyman hero.
Yeah, forget that. Billionaire. But then that falls apart, and so he has to lodge with Bobby, but he's kind of being a deadbeat, wallowing in self-pity. Then Venom Inc. happens, and that's when I started reading this again because I love Venom. And
Venom, did you say Venom Inc.?
Yes, INC though.
Yeah,
Venom Incorporated. Whoa. Venom's everywhere. Flash Thompson was the better one, though.
I'll agree with you on that. I still think they should have made him the lead of the movie. because then you have a disabled veteran as your lead, and that makes people like us write a shit ton of articles.
I know, and it would be great. Also,
Also, that trailer sucked. Anyway.
I could do an entire different episode, and I probably will somewhere down the line, about how, like, kind of formatively important Agent Venom was for me when I read that. But, because I was in high school back then, because I am a wee babby.
He's our baby. He's the baby writer on the staff.
But, so Spider-Man's, he's got his own apartment now. He's trying to, it's like, crappy little apartment. Think Sam Raimi Spider-Man 2.
Okay. He's still living in New York, so it's still really, really expensive.
Yeah. He gets summoned by Loki to pay a debt, so Loki can repay him a debt. And I had to read Rich's article about this to get the frame of reference. This is from 300 issues ago, where Spider-Man saved Loki's daughter, which I guess he had one that's not Hela in the comics. And so Loki, and I'm like skipping over so many bad jokes and cringeworthy dialogue to get to this point. So Loki summons Spider-Man to repay the debt. Spider-Man's like, "Oh no, you're the god of lies. You're obviously trying to screw me over." And then, like, incidentally swings his fist, and it opens up this vase casket thing that unleashes these fire wasps that are essentially universal pesticide. Are you guys still there, by the way? Because my feed's doing some weird stuff again.
Listening, yeah.
All right. So he opens. So the wasps are like a universal pesticide. They're meant to wipe out a dimension, but for other super contrived spider plot reasons, circa Spider-Man the Other, he's a spider totem, and he can kill them because spiders and insects. And immediately, like, okay, nice one, Peter. You're gonna get people killed, and because you're watching these people get stabbed by these giant wasps or hornets, or wasp. I don't know which one. And but they managed to stop them, but they couldn't save one person. And I'm spoiling this, but it's not really a spoiler. Spider-Man's like, oh, because Loki offered to rewrite time for Spider-Man so that he's still rich. And yes, they even reference Brand New Day with Mephisto doing this to save Aunt May, but breaking up the married Mary Jane Watson and Peter Parker. Because that's something you want to remind us that you wrote, Mr. Slott.
He did.
Anywho, so Spider-Man's like, use your time reversal thing. So this person didn't die because I threw my fist at a vase. And so you have this, and so this didn't happen. And so you already have this throwaway fight scene that looks surprising, to the comics credit, does look good because Mike Hawthorne's a good artist. But you have this throwaway fight scene of Spider that was caused by a mistake, by just the most random of stupid mistakes Spider-Man made, because he's clumsy in addition to being an asshole, apparently. And so you have all this, and then it doesn't matter anyway because Loki just reversed time, so he didn't have to pay the debt. So why even unearth this plot point from 300 issues ago if it doesn't really matter anyway? And then he only really serves to have Loki, foreshadowing bad things happen to Spider-Man, followed by Norman Osborn becoming Carnage.
Yeah. I feel like he didn't have... He wants to write the Norman Osborn as Red Goblin story, but he doesn't feel like there's enough there until he gets to the actual story. So he still had to throw a bunch of crap into random issues of Spider-Man.
And thus you have the plot padding of the gods.
Yes.
Because nothing of merit happens. And you have this facsimile of like a touching moment where the time flashback allows Spider-Man to have a lunch with Bobby and Aunt May and explain what went down to Aunt May, but they have a nice time. But he doesn't even write that scene. We just see it happen silently. So you don't even really have any actual human interaction there. And it's all feels even more pointless because this would have happened had Loki not done the whole summoning thing. And yes, it was Loki just screwing with Spider-Man because it's what he does, but it's also pointless. It's not like it ends with Spider-Man like, you manipulated me, Loki, I'm gonna beat the tar out of you. No, it's just... Oh, so...
Hi!
Did you drop out?
Yes. Yeah,
Yes.
I dropped out completely. My Wi-Fi died.
Yeah, but it's okay. You kept going and you didn't know, so...
Because like I saw your thing disappear on my screen, even though you're like frozen on my screen again. So I was confused, but
misses that Norman Osborn became Carnage at the end of the issue.
Oh, well, that sounds like so ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Alright,
invoke the movie Bob. Comics are weird.
yes. Yes, they are.
So, are you saying that you're going to be now? Taking personal bias against the man out of the equation. Are you happy that Slott's moving on to something else, and we get some fresh eyes on Spidey for the first time in a decade?
Is the rumor that Nick
Crap,
Spencer?
he's been writing Spider-Man for a decade?
Yeah.
I think it's close to it, not over. Yeah.
Yeah, because I stopped reading about when he took over. Bear in mind, I was like 12 years old back then, so I didn't really have my taste buds for quality yet.
Oh, God, you're so young.
But even then, I was like, no,
Like, what is this?
Oh, 10 years ago, I could legally drink. Oh, I'm having an existential crisis, but feel free to continue.
I think that the rumor is true that Nick Spencer's taking over, but I mean, that's an argument for another time.
I've read some of Spencer's stuff.
I enjoyed a lot of Nick Spencer's writing, and I'm going to leave it at that.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, I guess that's a conversation for another time. I argue the man can write some good things, though. Astonishing X-Men was glorious. Astonishing Ant-Man, Ant-Man.
Fear Foes of Spider-Man was excellent.
That was the one where Scott Lang starts his own security company, right?
Yes, and it's glorious.
Yes, I really, really enjoyed that run because Scott Lang is another one of the human disasters of Marvel, and I tend to love the human disasters.
I do too. They're so great. Scott, Clint, depending on what day it is, Oliver Queen.
Bucky. The king of being a human disaster.
Oh, poor Bucky. I also have Bucky Cap here.
He's here somewhere.
Bucky is my main. He's my favorite character out of comic books.
We have had many discussions about our mutual love of Bucky Barnes.
Bucky Barnes is just amazing, but and I'm so glad he's coming back for Infinity War. A little scene of like him with his gun, like I'm gonna kill him.
Okay, so I probably wouldn't have read. I didn't really see any conceivable notion where I wanted to pick up a Spider-Man book at this point anyway, but now I definitely don't. Because even from the parts of that conversation that I heard, it still sounded bad.
Oh, so bad.
Okay. So, Spider-Man bad.
Yes.